Good morning, everyone. Guys, I can't believe what's happening in the United Kingdom at the moment. I can't believe what's happening all over the world. It seems in the last 24, 48 hours, the last week, we've just had things go from bad to worse in every situation. In the United Kingdom, we've got guys, right? Go through my previous videos. I said pretty early on, I said, right, you know what? This is our Prime Minister. I don't want to be overcritical of him, but guys, I can't believe how bad the situation in the UK is. I can't believe how bad it's getting. And the actions from the government are only making things worse. Remember, the government work for the people. It's the people who tell the government what to do. The government have no right in telling the people what to do or what they should or should not feel. If the people are angry about something, it's the government's job to deal with that. Guys, I don't want to go on that anymore. I'm going to do more content on that on our other platform. Guys, if you've not done so already, please like and share and subscribe and hit those bells down below, whatever they look like. Anyway, so the last 24 hours in the global World War III escalations, we've seen Middle East tensions just go out of control, guys. They've gone absolutely wild. We've seen possible attacks now on British bases. We've got Russia pushing in the east of Ukraine, making, significant gains. And we've actually got more Falklands escalations. Guys, this has literally all happened in the last 24 hours. So let me just, I'm going to read you something now, guys, and I will put this I'll put the link in the description. Where are we? Israelis are preparing for Israelis are preparing for a potential Iranian retaliation, stockpiling food, water, getting their bomb shelters ready, following warnings from local authorities. Now, the local authorities and the local municipalities in Israel, they're telling people to stock up on food, stock up on water, make sure you've got batteries, make sure you've got 3 days food and water, and make sure you can get into a safe location within 90 seconds. Now, excuse me. Israel is, of course, a slightly, well, not slightly, it's in a very different situation than we are in the United Kingdom. But I think people in the United Kingdom need to take serious consideration into looking at my video I did about hibernate, relocate, evacuate, and putting together a system where you can have systems in place to protect you and your family and to get out of the way of violence if it erupts on the streets. Because what I'm seeing at the moment in the United Kingdom, I'm not seeing any way that this is going to die down anytime soon. And all I'm seeing from the government is they're making things worse. So let me share this here with you guys. So this is continuing on the with the Middle East, because things are just escalating out of control out there. So this one here, guys. So US is to bolster its military presence in the Middle East as threat of regional escalation intensifies. Now, it goes on, it talks about, here we are, guys, look. On Friday, France urged its citizens to leave Iran and Cyprus. Said it had extended plans to support large-scale evacuation from the region if the war expands. The island nation helped tens of thousands of people leave during the 2006 war between Israel and Hezbollah. Guys, most recently, there's been actual identified threats towards Cyprus. So you've got Hezbollah, you've got Iran, you've got Hamas, that they're all around Israel. They've threatened specifically a couple of months ago, I think maybe last month, they threatened Cyprus. Why did they threaten Cyprus? Well, there's a huge RAF base on Cyprus. It's called RAF Akateria. I've been there lots of times. This base is, it's a hub for Western aircraft, United States aircraft, British aircraft, and they can fly sorties in and around Israel, in and around that region. What we've seen recently, when the last escalations happened, we saw a load of British and American fast jets go and intercept these drones as they were coming towards Israel. Now, the reason I'm bringing that to you and making this in, as a point, is because what's being said, with the, with the surrounding nations and how they're going to attack Israel. They've said it's not going to be, a token effort. They've said it's going to be, they said it's going to be not a measured response. They said it's going to be a meaningful response this time. Now, you've got all the warships in the Mediterranean, the United States warships. You've got more warships coming. You've got RAF Akatere. So it kind of doesn't matter about the warships, you can argue, if you've got a fully functioning airbase like a couple of 100 kilometers away from that coastline. So that British airbase will be a target. Will it be hit? I don't know. What will happen, you can guarantee there's going to be a coordinated attack now on Israel from all sides. Now, Netanyahu, well, I'll read what Netanyahu said, actually, so you can see. Hang on. I'm just getting used to this, guys. Right, what did Netanyahu say? Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, here we are. So, Hezbollah, so this is the Hezbollah chief now, guys. He's saying that, response to Israeli assassination will be inevitable. Then we need to scroll down here and see what people have said. So Israel has crossed red lines and a response is inevitable. Think about that word they're using, guys. They're not saying it may or may not come, and they're not leaving anything under any question. A response is coming. Adding that a regional escalation will deepen upon Israel's response to the upcoming reprisals. So what he's saying there is kind of what makes sense. He's saying, okay, we're going to escalate and the conflict is going to widen because Israel will then escalate towards us. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel was readying itself for a retaliation attack by Iran and its allies. Israel is very prepared for any scenario, both defensively and offensively. He said, according to his office, we will extract a very heavy price for any act of aggression against us from any arena. So what he's basically saying there is, we're going to get attacked, but we're also going to respond to this attack. So now everybody's kind of like, they've got the chessboard set, and it's only a matter of time now before these pieces all move. Anybody who plays chess at any level, you know that you start playing chess, you move your pawns, you'll move a bishop out, and if you're brave, you'll move your queen out, and slowly everything moves into place until everything's locked in. And you look at the chessboard, and it gets so complicated. You're looking at that board and you're thinking, right, if I take him, he's going to take me, that's going to take that. And you just can't work it out. You can't work it. It just becomes too complicated to identify what's going to happen next because there's so many pieces. And that's where we are at the moment. We're at that moment where all the pieces are just going to go for it, and who knows what's going to be left in flames. So just remember that, guys, all right? We have got all this tension brewing up. We've got all this, these people talking about the inevitability of all these conflicts. We've got the US warships moving into that region. We've got, the United Kingdom, RAF Akatere. We've got Hezbollah. We've got Iran. We've got Hamas, all threatening Israel at the same time. Well, we've got the United States vowing to protect Israel. We've got, the Israeli Prime Minister, as we've just said, he says, right, okay, if we're going to attack, if we get attacked, we're going to respond. So this is any moment, any day now, guys. This is just going to flare out of control. So what else has been happening, guys? So I'm going to flick to Ukraine now. Now, what I want to do is just remind you of some things that were said in previous videos. Remember when I said when I brought to your attention what France had said about if the Russians make significant gains in the east of Ukraine. I remember when everybody was out there saying, "Oh well, Macron said this," but you know, and then Macron went away and he made like an allied pact on this, and they said they're going to do some training, getting ready to go into Ukraine. Well, we've not heard anything of them. Does that mean it's not been happening? No, I believe it's still happened, but you know, and I believe these troops could be ready to move into Ukraine now. So, what badge would they be wearing? What beret? What headdress? Would they be going in as international peacekeepers? Would they be going in as support to the Ukrainians? Would they be going in as... We don't know who they'll be going in with, but that's what's been said previously. Now, I know people are thinking it won't happen, and you know, and there's no possibility. But at the moment, what you've got to understand is there's far too much money being spent in Ukraine for the Ukrainians to be seen to lose. Now, let me just read quickly from the Guardian. I'll put these links in the description. Russian assaults are raising pressure on the strategic eastern logistics hub of Pokrovsk in the Donetsk region. Ukraine says, as waves of guided bombs and infantry lead some of Moscow's largest territorial gains. Remember what the French said when Macron said if the Russians make significant gains. Well, they're claiming it here, guys, in different wording. They're saying largest territorial gains. The push is fueling a surge in civilians fleeing, with requests for evacuation in the area increasing tenfold over the past 2 weeks, according to a volunteer helping people to leave. Russian gains of about 22 square miles in the space of a week are the third largest recorded since April, and they made only modest gains in June. So even though the Russians were only making modest gains, they're still making gains, and they're still making slow gains, big gains, slow gains, you know, depending on how you look at these metrics. But you know, the Russians keep pushing, and you know, it's only going to be a matter of time now before somebody has to say, okay, the Ukrainians can't hold this front line. Also from this article, then, they're talking about these glide bombs, or the guided bombs. I'm assuming it's these glided munitions, because that's what they're using. The West, NATO, nobody has an answer for these glide bombs. Imagine a 3-ton projectile coming at you with wings. It's got no engine to take out. It's not really moving much. It's already got its altitude, so it doesn't need to, you know, it doesn't need to go up or down or anything. And it's coming straight at you. Guys, these glide bombs are almost impossible to stop. That's why it's going to be key when the F-16s start to be deployed, because the glide bombs need to be launched from an aircraft. So if you can push that aircraft back, you'll reduce the range of that glide munition. And then obviously that brings the bigger question: will the Russians take out the airfields? So let me just share this map with you, and I'll show you where it is on the ground. So this map here, guys, I'll put the link to this map in the description, but you've got Pokrovsk there. So that's a key transport hub, as they said. Now you've got this road link here. Now this is obviously, if you control this region, Pokrovsk, you're going to control this route, and you're going to control this route. And I think there's a rail hub there as well. Let me just zoom in. Yeah, so that's the rails hub there. So there's a main rails hub with two north and south, north and south lines. And in Ukraine in general, it's a really good map, this, guys, if you want to go and have a look at it. So that's the region we're looking at, where my cursor is. Obviously, Ukraine, Kiev. You know, you can just see all the military units in and around on the border areas. So north of Sumy, you've got the 71st Motorized Guards. Right here, look, you've got a unit. I think this is in Belarus. Yeah, so you've got the 5th Separate Special Forces Brigade. I think that's where the Chinese were doing the so that's where the Chinese were doing the joint exercise with the Belarusians, right there in Brest, or Brest, or whatever you want to call it. And again, that's another main train hub for East-West. So if you were invading Belarus, you'd want to take control of that area because it's a main transport hub. Equally, if you was invading Europe from the Russian side, you would want that place to be secured because that's your main, one of your main transport hubs for your train. Sorry, guys, I'm waffling. Right, let's get back on point. So this region here, guys, okay? So that's where there's heavy fighting. This region looks like it's going to fall at any, if it's not already done so, it could fall at any day now. And then the Russians will control this area, which would mean they control these routes, and the Ukrainians would also have that supply route severed from their, from their logistics hub, and they wouldn't be able to move forwards. So, guys, all this stuff's going absolutely insane. Now, with the Ukraine front, you've got to understand what's previously been said because they put nothing's hidden anymore. They put this stuff out in small articles as, they have the main article and all the what's being said and we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And then later down the articles, they'll say, oh yeah, and as they were leaving, they said they might do this or, oh, that could happen, and they're the things you need to focus on. They're the things you need to concentrate on and think, right, okay, why did they say that? So again, guys, sorry, I'm doing a lot of screen sharing today. Let me just screen share this again and go to. So remember when I mentioned this, guys? This is the this is the Ukraine strike security deal with Poland. So if you go down on this one, I did an article about it. I'm not going to read it all again. Where are we? You see, it's quite far. Here we are, guys. So this bit here. Zelensky and Tusk also agreed to discuss the possibility of shooting down Russian missiles and drones fired in the direction of Poland. Several such weapons have crossed over Poland's airspace, but Warsaw did not intercept them. So you see now, all these, when was this article? So this was July the 8th. And I actually spoke about this because there was a previous article and it was saying, a previous article said it first came out about the Polish Air Force and they were saying, oh, if we could just intercept these missiles over Ukraine, we'd be able to save so many people's lives. We'd be able to do, we'd be able to stop this, these mindless killings. And that is all true. Now, I said, okay, that's interesting. That's kind of it's kind of non-information because everybody knows that, but it's interesting. It's being pushed by the media. So then I thought, okay, why is that? And I developed that in my head to, okay, that's the seed of the Polish flying defensive sorties over Ukraine, and nobody is under any illusion that the Ukrainians can fly these from Ukraine. Anytime they want, the Russians can close down these airfields. They'll just send a ton of these glide bombs. There's no answer for these glide bombs, guys, and they're so cheap to produce. They can mass produce them and they have absolutely catastrophic effects. So that gives then the option to the Ukrainians and the rest of NATO. Where do they fly these from? Well, look what's just been said on what I just showed you. Zelensky and Tusk. Yeah, we're talking about, we agreed to have a discussion about the possibility because maybe we're going to let it happen. Guys, that's going to happen. You're going to see, Polish aircraft at some point. You're going to see Polish aircraft flying defensive sorties over Ukraine, and that's how they're going to start it. You've already seen the tactical tiptoe with the Romanians, intercepting munitions over Ukraine. So that precedence has already been started by Romania. Now Romania is going to maybe do it once, do it twice, and then they'll stop doing it. That will open the floodgates then because it's been done. The precedence had started for the Polish to start doing it. Then the Polish, they'll start off by just flying in their own airspace. They'll say, yeah, we're flying in our own airspace, but we saw a Russian missile coming over and we decided to intercept it because it will save so many lives in Lviv or wherever. And nobody's going to argue with that, guys. Nobody's going to argue with that because it's fair. And then it's going to be a case of, well, there was a Russian missile coming into Ukraine and it was just out of range of our missiles. So with our bilateral security agreement that we've already got in place with Ukraine, in this circumstance, we can just come 10 kilometers into Ukraine, just to get rid of that missile and save so many people's lives. And again, that is true. But what's that done? It's opened the precedence now for Polish jets to be flying in Ukrainian airspace. As long as none of these jets get down over Russia, they're never going to recover the pilots. They're never going to know who was actually flying these or what the mission was. So it becomes very difficult then for the Russians to say, right, okay, that jet leaving now, that is a Polish jet on a defensive sortie, because that's how it'll escalate. That's how it'll start. It'll be, oh, we scrambled our jets because there was a missile coming in. Okay. We scrambled our jets because there was a missile coming in and we went 10 kilometers into Ukraine. Okay. We scrambled our jets because there was a missile coming in and we went 50 kilometers into Ukraine. Okay. We don't scramble our jets anymore. We just have them on daily patrols. We do them at random patrolling times because that stops the Russians sending the missiles over, and then we can intercept the missiles while they're over Russian territory, because then no debris fall on the Ukrainians. Do you see how these things escalate, guys? And do you see the seeds now? Do you see back from when I identified the article about the Polish pilot saying, hey, you know what, I want to be able to shoot these missiles. Can you see the evolution and the chain of events that this is going to lead to? And then the Russians are going to say, okay, so is this jet leaving Poland, is that a Polish jet on a defensive sortie mission because they're going to be flying the same routes? Or is it a Ukrainian F-16 leaving on an offensive mission? There's going to be absolutely zero way for the Russians to tell. So the Russians then have to make the decision. And I'm talking maybe in a couple of months, guys, or the way things are escalating at the moment, I genuinely don't know. So the Russians now have to make the decision, okay, we've taken out the airfields in Ukraine. They can't fly them from Ukraine. We're already at war with NATO anyway, but, it's just not been, it's just not been agreed. Okay, we're going to take out the Polish airfields as well. And that's the fear, and that's kind of where this thing's leading to. And at that point, guys, I don't know what the state of the world will be in. Excuse me. But anyway, guys, so that's it on Ukraine. And finally, because nobody's talking about this, especially if you're in the United Kingdom, what I'm going to talk about next should be the most important thing that everybody's talking about, but there's only a few mainstream media outlets covering it, and the way they're covering it, they're not even, they're not putting it front page, they're just putting it to the back of everything. But basically, China has come out now, and they've said that where are we? Yeah, so China have said basically that they support, well, I'll read it. Falkland Islands tensions explode as China backs Argentina's claim on British territory. China's top diplomat in the country confirmed Beijing fully recognized Argentina's sovereignty over the contested islands. So this guy, Millie, he's playing a fantastic game at the moment, honestly. He's buying, he's not saying that he actually turned down BRICS membership, which, guys, he's playing a cracker, honestly. He turned down BRICS memberships, and what he's doing is he's buying NATO weapons, he's buying Western weapon systems. Now, the reason he's doing that is because they're just better. But if he was part of the BRICS alliance, he wouldn't be able to do that. So he's buying as many, NATO weapons as he can. And then at some point, guys, I'm guaranteeing you they're going to join the BRICS alliance. Falkland Islands tensions have exploded once again as China, through its support, I've just said that. Beijing's ambassador, guys, when I say Chinese names, I there's no offense to anybody Chinese, but some of them are so funny. Wang Wei issued last week a statement to Buenos Aires in which he expressed his support for closer relations between the two nations. Do you think that's got anything to do with the vast amounts of oil that have just been found? I don't know. Wang's move, guys, I can't say Wang with a straight face. Wang's move came as part of a meeting between delegation of Chinese entrepreneurs. Guys, they're telling you what's happening. Entrepreneurs. Oh, God. Anyway, guys, so so you can see what's happening there. China are saying, well, you know what? We think the Falklands should belong to Argentina as long as Argentina is one of our allies. Nothing to do with the oil that's there at all. We don't want that oil. That's for Argentina. Not a chance, guys. It's all about the oil, like it always is. It's all about resources. It's all about oil. This thing, guys, in the Falklands, as soon as Britain is committed, as soon as Britain is in a stage where we can't defend ourselves, and you could argue that's pretty soon, you know, Argentina are going to make another crack at the Falklands. Remember, people in the Falklands voted, I think they had 100% turnout, and they had 98, I think it was 98% of them said they wanted to be and continue to be British. Remember, Britain has been on the Falkland Islands since before Argentina existed. All right, so the Falkland Islands are British. They only want them because of the amount of oil that's there, you know, and that's why the Falkland Islands is going to be it's going to kick off down there at some point. And guys, I'm the only one who's talking about it, but don't worry, I will keep you guys informed as I always do. Guys, I'm going to Magta Grid, and I will see you guys later.